Hey everyone, welcome to the sample room. Today we're going to be learning how to sew a sleeve placket that's in our workwear jacket. Let's get into it. Now we are going to start our placket. Okay, so we're going to start with our wrong side up, and we are going to find our notch here that's closest to our back seam. We are actually going to mark it. It's supposed to be 9 cm tall. So we're going to mark 9 cm here. Now we have our two sleeve placket bindings. So first we are going to the one without the notch, wrong side up, and that is going to go closest to the back arm seam. Now align the edge of the binding along the line we just drew. And we're going to pin and do the same for the other side, but make sure the notch is closest to the line and just line the edge up, kissing the other binding, and make sure that the edges line up at the bottom of the sleeve, and then pin in the same place. So we're going to remeasure 9 cm, or you can just peek underneath. And here is kind of like the finished version of it. So it's going to be 1.6 cm wide. So we're going to cut our welt and we're going to do 0.8 on each side. We're going to sew around this line now, this rectangle. Okay, so we just finished our stitch and now we're going to cut into a little triangle here. And I would say leave about 1 cm here from the tip of your triangle to the edge of the rectangle. So cut all the way to the tip of the triangle, and then we're gonna cut in. And then remember to get as close to that corner as possible. The same on this side. Press the seam allowance open, and then we're going to flip them to the other side. Now we're going to do our first binding here, the non-notched binding. We are going to make 2 folds, and we are going to align it on the stitching. And we're going to make sure that this is 1.5 or 1.6 cm wide. I'm going to pin. And then we're also going to make sure that this back side, our triangle, is up towards the right side. So this back is clean here. We're going to stitch this shut, and then we're going to come across and catch that back edge in just to secure it. Mark where we're going to stitch back here. And make sure this piece is also folded up so it gets like a really nice clean finish. Push this to that corner as much as you can so it can line up perfectly. And then I'm going to put a pin, so I want to make sure we catch this area there. So we're going to stitch it right about here. So now we have our nice clean finish binding. Now that we finish our binding here, looks super great, we are going to trim this because it's gonna get a little bulky in here, like minimize the bulkiness. So I trimmed 5 millimeters away from where we just stitched. Should be good enough. I clipped this corner a little bit too. Okay, so now we're gonna do the binding with the notch. So similar to what we just did, we are going to fold this twice, making sure this is around 1.6 centimeters wide. And then we are going to stitch it. And then when you get up here, make sure this first binding, we cover this edge here, and we want to kind of like line it up as nice as possible. So we just have this to clean up, and we're just going to fold it over about 5 millimeters. And then we are going to stitch, but I'm going to pin it first, and I'm going to make sure everything is hidden underneath. And if you need to kind of like finagle the binding a little bit, maybe make it a little bit wider to cover the binding underneath, that's totally okay. So we're basically going to start from the edge, come around here, pivot here, and then we want to make sure we catch this binding here and then cut across and end it right here. Okay, so now we have our sleeve placket done. Thanks so much for following along of our video of sewing our sleeve placket, and until next time.